Good day to each and everyone. I am Miraluna Binetin and I will continue the rest of the tips in leading a meeting. So the last tips is follow up. The last thing you need to do when you lead a meeting is to follow up with the participants. Even if you clearly go over the action items at the end of the meeting, it can hurt for everyone to get in writing. So on top of those action items, including the key takeaways in your follow up, reiterate lessons learned, points made, and new ideas that sprouted from the conversation. The other thing is make your meetings meaningful. Learning how to lead a meeting isn't easy. It requires organization, preparation, and focus. It can be challenging at first, but with the time and the tips, you can become an expert meeting leader. So, I have here 3 tips on making a meaningful meeting. So, the first tip is tell me what you are really thinking. Be vulnerable enough to let people speak without judgment and be genuine about it. So, what people want most is to have a safe space to speak up, free of judgment. If your people have the courage to speak up about something that can create more momentum, that's a huge step in helping them, and you act as individual agents of change and evolve from the silos and traditional workplace limitations. So in that case, you have lifted your people up and pulled them in new directions and toward opportunities that maybe they never saw. This begins their journey of being able to influence the evolution of the business they serve and the process of aligning their personal and professional goals with those of the organization. The second tip is stop caring about what is wrong. So when you're in a meeting, it was about how to do more, not attack what was being said or question direction. Ask questions to understand and make sure you understand what is being asked, but then focus on how to deliver the best performance you could. Some people in the meeting are doing the exact opposite, giving feedback that is never asked for and looking for the holes in the plan, speaking just to show how smart they are, attempting to explain what is wrong about what someone is saying or what the business is doing. Our leaders or even our clients ask us to do something or come up with an idea, and we either tell them why it won't work or quietly sit and then do only what we are told to execute it, nothing more. I believe that no plan is completely wrong either. Before you criticize and refuse to act, find what is right about it and maximize that. Find the possibilities and opportunities and how you can bring more to the table. And when you are done, you'll find what is wrong is no longer on the table. So the third tip is talk less, listen more. Nothing makes people more complacent about speaking up than a leader who speaks just to hear the sound of his or her own voice every time on every issue. Often first, and if not then, they contribute by repeating what someone else just said. Simply put, leaders must listen to understand. If you're always talking, you never listen. If you always have to speak, others just follow or stop wanting to speak. Focus on learning, not showing what you know. Listen to and recognizing people is an act of courage, vulnerability, and wisdom in leadership, and it gives your people influence. Create environments where everyone contributes, influences more, and creates moments and movements that are meaningful and purposeful. So the next thing to tackle about is opening and closing meetings. So in opening meetings, set the tone by getting people interested with a short, spirited introduction and start on time. Read and explain the meeting agenda and ensure that everyone understands and agrees on the purpose. Get the attendance before the start of the meeting to get the quorum. So in closing meetings, uh, ending a meeting leaves attendees with either a good or negative feeling. So to close the meeting within the announced period by clearly stating what follow-up assignments and decisions need to be completed. So there are 5 hacks in closing meetings. Number one is end on a positive note. So even if there has been tension and differences of opinion, strive to end the meeting harmoniously. A positive ending creates goodwill in attendees instead of them walking away, grumbling the meeting was a waste of time. So the number two is pin down before the schedule and time. So savvy meeting facilitation requires an eye on the clock. So wrap up discussions a few minutes before the end time so the presenter has the time for some closing moments. So nothing ruins a meeting like going way past the scheduled ending time. So number three is reiterate its overall objective. So, closing comments like opening comments need to include the overall goal of the meeting. It ties all the discussion together and reminds participants of the objective the meeting achieved. So, number four is connect with the participants one last time. So, meeting facilitators should spend a little time at the end of the meeting, recognizing exemplary participants who contributed valuable ideas. So instead of rushing back to work or another meeting, stand at the door or log off last and thank participants for attending. Just a few seconds on one attention creates a positive reaction in most people. So the last hack is schedule follow-ups. So before the meeting adjourns, set the next step in place. Whether it's another meeting to measure progress or email follow-up, ensure that every participant understood the next point of contact. So, knowing how to effectively end a meeting is a key component of successful meeting facilitation. So, by implementing these five hacks, meeting can be closed in such a way the participants understand the value of the meeting, feel connected to the project, and begin to prepare for the next step. So that ends the discussion of lesson 4.